Christopher Reeves said, "At first, our dreams seem impossible. Then they seem improbable. But once we engage the will and the spirit, they become inevitable." I was absolutely delighted to find out the theme for the day, the stuff of dreams, because over the last 26 years, I've had the privilege of assisting some people to empower themselves to become what they need to become so they can do what they're destined to do. And as Warwick said, we use East and Western philosophies, metaphysics, martial arts, and the performing arts. I am a little bit preoccupied with empowerment because our greatest voids determine our greatest values. Whatever we think is missing in our lives, that becomes a value. So why is empowerment a value for me? I started school right in the middle of the White Australia policy. Who knows what the White Australia policy is? Good. It was part of the Constitution of Australia in 1901. It said there is no room in Australia for the Chinese man. So I came from a middle-class family, fairly well nurtured at home. Then I went to school, 5 years old. I hit school, I was picked on, I was kicked, I was punched. Name-calling was a daily occurrence. And I thought, I'm 5, I'm a little kid. What's going on? And so that was the most disempowered part of my life ever. Our greatest voids determine our greatest values. My void was personal power. My value was personal power. And it wasn't until after school I studied martial arts, about 8 different forms all up. Now the thing is, everything occurs in a state of balance. So if you have massive negative, there is a massive positive of equal magnitude. So what was the massive positive? Massive positive is I'm teaching people to empower themselves to achieve their dreams. Now there are all of the great philosophers said the meaning of life, the reason we're here, is to leverage our talents, abilities, knowledge, experience and passion to serve as many people as we can. So that's what I've been doing. I'm here to serve. Now in life there are some sloggers and there are cruisers. You know, the sloggers, they work hard, a lot of time and effort. They've got to devote everything, and even then they're still not happy. The cruisers, things seem to fall into their lucky laps. I wonder which one you are. And people say to me, why would you be a slogger rather than a cruiser? Well, the thing is, psychologists will tell you from the time of birth to up to about age 7, the sloggers have bought into the myth that you have to work hard and put a lot of time in. The cruisers, they just accept that things will happen. And I'll draw your attention, to illustrate this, to probably the most credible television series, reality television series in history. 2.5 Men. Now, you have 2 brothers, all right? Is it nature or nurture? Sloggers versus cruisers. It's nurture, because you have 2 brothers, one slog. Who's seen 2.5 Men? Good. Okay, so one's a slogger, one's a cruiser, things just fall into his lap. And to give you an idea of how I've put this into action, early in the year, I thought someone drew my attention to TED Talks. And so I looked them up online and I thought, yeah, they look pretty good, and the audiences are pretty receptive and intelligent as well. And I thought, wouldn't mind doing a TED Talk. So then I just left the idea. In March, I thought I'd go to the National Speakers Association annual convention for the first time in about 12 years. And I booked it at the last minute. And the national president rang me and said, I hear you're coming to convention for a change. And I said, well, it looks pretty good this year. And he said, well, do you want to speak at it on the main platform? And I said, we're a week we're a week away. Haven't you got the program organised? And he said, yeah, well, it'd be a shame to have you come and not speak at it. Do you want to do 45 minutes? I said, yeah, maybe there's something I can contribute. So I did the 45 minutes. Who was in the audience? John Yo, curator of TEDxMelbourne. He comes up later. Ron, would you like to speak at TEDx Melbourne in August? I went, sure, maybe I can offer something. So it fell into place. So why did it fall into place? Because I had an attitude of service and was ready. So that's a key. The other keys to achieving what you want, I use just 3 principles. Mind leads the body, chi energy, and belief systems. That's all you need. Like everything worthwhile, everything simple. So anyway, Charlie Harper is a role model for me. I like popular culture. I mean, things come to him, it's great. And I have three. The second one is Al Bundy. Do you know, who's seen Married with Children? Yeah, Al Bundy. One of the most underrated philosophers of our time. Okay, I'll give you an example. He's sitting on the couch with his wife, and Peg says, Al, what are you thinking? Al says, if I wanted you to know, I'd be talking. I mean, the man is a suburban genius, ladies and gentlemen. And the third one, of course, is the third role model that I have in life is naturally Austin Powers. And no need to explain why. It's obvious, isn't it? Now, you're laughing at because I have 3 fictional characters as role models. Would you raise the house lights, please? Would you bring them up? Would you mind indulging me for just a few seconds? Would you do that? Yeah? Okay, great. Now, I'm going to recite a Shakespearean quote. It's only one line, and you've all heard it before. So I would like you, if you don't mind, to yell out at the tops of your lungs, all together, at the appropriate time, the last word of this Shakespearean quote. Would you do that, please? Yeah? Okay. Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him. Okay, so, alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well. If you look up later, not now, unless you really want to, if you look up Hamlet, Act 5, Scene 1, you will see that the quote is, alas, poor Yorick, I knew him Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. Some of you are looking up now and you're still going, no, it's I knew him well. The only time it was, alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well, was when the dog Shakespearean actor said it in Bugs Bunny. I was speaking at a women's empowerment convention in Canberra 2 years ago. It was called Redefining the Superwoman. And this young woman strode up to me at the break. She was petite, she was slim, she was very athletic and fit. And she came up to me and she said, hello, my name's Caroline Buchanan. I realise why I'm here. And I said, do you mean in a philosophical universal sense or geographically and chronologically here and now? And she said, I'm here so that the corporate ninja can train me. Will you train me? And I said, well, I don't know. What do you do? She said, London, have anyone heard of her? Caroline Buchanan. A couple, okay. London Olympics, BMX women's final, 5th place. And I said, 5th. And she said, that's why I want you to train me. Because she has a stable of very large corporate companies, multinationals, household names. She didn't go to London to come 5th, even though it was her first Olympics. I said, okay, come to Sydney and I'll train you in internal martial arts. How long will that take? For you, I would expect with you no more than half a day. And she said, great. So a couple of weeks later, she comes to Sydney. I took her to the local gym, large gym, and I trained her in internal martial arts. The easy part was showing her how to double her physical strength. Then we dissected each part of the race. And I said, I've had a look at some videos. The start looks really stressful. And she said, yeah, there's massive pressure at the start. So I showed her how to meditate and be aware at the same time. And that fixed up the start when we looked at everything else. Okay, so this is the start of the race when she rang me 2 weeks later. She rang me and said, I'm in Auckland. Yesterday I was in the World Championship Women's Final. She's in the all white with a white helmet. The one next to her is the gold medalist from the Olympics. Next to her was, a former world champion. Next to her was former triple world champion. This is what happened.
Games. Ariel Martin holds a degree in exercise science and a dad owns a bike shop. How's that? Well, ready to go. The women's final.
Okay, riders, random start.
This is it. Rainbow
Caroline in the all white.
Ready? Watch the gate.
Gates 1 and 2 are the ones to keep an eye on. Buchanan and Payon, and pushing through in the middle. Oh, Payon is in trouble. Something's wrong. And there's another faller. They're all over the place. Coming to the second turn. And who have we got? Buchanan, Post and Reynolds. Buchanan, Post and Reynolds. Australia, the United States, Australia. Payon is out of it. The Olympic champion's gone as they come down to the finish. Buchanan, here comes Post. They're trying to fight back. Oh, they're all over the place. What a mixed up, crazy final that was. Buchanan, Reynolds and Valentino will get third.
The Australian Caroline Buchanan.
She won a 25.5-second race by 6 lengths, annihilated the gold medalist and 3 former world champions. Then she said, read my email. Okay, it says that she had the best start of her life. She hit the first bend, turned around, woke up and realised that she was in front of everyone. And then she just attended to the rest of the race. 2 months later, she went to South Africa and won the World Mountain Bike Championship. Then she was made Cycling Australia's Cyclist of the Year. In December that year, she won the Australian Institute of Sport Athlete of the Year. Last April, she went to Manchester and won the BMX World Cup, and she contacted me last Friday and said, can we have a catch-up session before the Olympics? You might gather that I'm a bit proud of her. And she writes in the email, I think I did what you said. I'm thinking, well, obviously you did enough. All right. So I'm going to, now can we have the house lights up again, please? I'm going to give you a demonstration about what you can do with mind leads the body, chi energy and belief systems. Now I normally at this point ask for a volunteer to come up from the audience, someone who's really strong and powerful, but here's one I prepared earlier. Joel, would you come up please? How about a big hand for Joel? Wasn't his talk incredible? I was astounded. Not yet. No, go back. Not finished yet. All right. Okay, terrific. Thanks. All right, now feel your trachea. Lower part of the throat above the bone and push. It's a bit tender, yes? All right. Martial artists frequently strike the throat because there's a natural defence for the eyes. There's a natural defence for the groin. There is no instinctive defence for the throat. And the reason we strike the trachea is because it hurts. So, now, has anyone seen the arrow before, the arrow at the throat? Yes? Couple. Have you seen anybody do 2 at the same time? No? So you probably wouldn't have seen people do 3 at the same time, and you definitely would have not have seen people do 4 at the same time. Wooden target arrows, 30-pound spine weight, metal tip. Okay, as we described before, yeah, forward stance, knee over the big toe, 2 hands extended, one behind the other. Oh, yeah, good. What about the power of this? Now, I haven't seen anyone this strong since since the late 80s when I swam for the Chinese women's Olympic swimming team. So, all right. All right, so... All right, thank you, Joel. Thank you. Oh, Joel, we need those glasses, thanks. Now, I think we have an arrow left. Oh yeah, we have an arrow. Now, what I'm going to do is find a volunteer who... Could we have the house lights up again, please, guys? A volunteer who will do this with 30 seconds instruction. Because I believe in fast track. Okay, so anybody, who else? Who else? John, the curator of TEDx Melbourne. That John. You think John? Okay. Yeah, come on up, John. Are you sure you're okay with this? I just want to make sure. Okay, I have a question. Do you agree to release myself and my company from any liability that might result from personal injury?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, people ask me, is this dangerous? Now, the thing is, I've been doing this for 26 years. And people who ask me, someone last week said, is this dangerous? And I said, well, look, I've been doing it for a long time. I've done this hundreds, if not thousands of times. And in that period, are you chickening out? Okay. In that period, there have been very, very few serious accidents and virtually no fatalities. So,
my mum's out there somewhere, and my dad.
He should be okay.
He's professional.
You know, the odds are with him, and I'll be very careful, Mrs. Yo.
Okay.
All right, so you're going to focus on that wall.
All right.
I don't exist, the problem doesn't exist, you're going to focus on there. Okay. Don't move forward until I instruct you, because I want to feel where in your body your energy is at any time. It needs to be low, you need to drop it, right? Okay.
Right. Okay.
All right, now just relax. Drop your energy and breathe. Yeah, you don't have to actually go down, you can just drop your energy. Wow, you're sending out a bit of energy through your throat, aren't you? Your energy's up here. Drop it down further. Go, and relax. You know, it's good, excellent. I can feel your heart. All right. So just drop down the energy more, just more. Drop it right down to your knees. Imagine, yeah, great. Okay, good. Yes, it's dropping, excellent. Walk. John Yo, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, John, don't drink anything for a few minutes, because... No, I'm joking. Right, so, all right, the messages I want to leave you with are: mind leads the body, chi energy, and belief systems. And you know what belief systems are? Believing in other people as well, not just yourself. If you believe in other people, you get more out of it than they do. And the final quote that I'm going to give you is from the Rocky Horror Show. Don't dream it, be it. Thank you.